Right then, Manchester United near enough booked our place in the final after a 3-0 victory against Nottingham Forest last night. Comfortable performance in the end, but Nottingham Forest made a real contest of it, certainly in the first half at least, and there's a couple of players that really put us on the back foot. But let's get into it. Number one, Weghorst opens his account. So I thought he played well enough to score a goal. I thought his occupation of the back line is something that United haven't really had. We have forwards that want to play in between the lines. Weghorst goes and gets right on a centre-half, and then I don't know if you notice how handsy centre-halves are getting with him. They are all over his shirt, all over his middle, basically just getting handsy with him because he is a big unit and you don't want him to get the run on you. It's a foul, but it wasn't getting called. And it's rare to see that in a United shirt, that someone is pushing the opposition back line in such a way. And it was interesting. He makes brilliant runs. I think he's got great movement. He is very tidy in possession for the size of him. He's just a little bit on the slow side. But he works tirelessly. He presses. He runs his socks off. I think he's been mega underappreciated. I think people really underrated his performance against Arsenal. I thought it was a good performance. He's a constant threat to centre-halves and sloppy passes from centre-half, and he will create chances and probably score goals from that himself. He's got 1 goal in 3 games for United. If he continues that sort of ratio, I'll be very happy with that as a return. If he exceeds that, I think he's probably exceeded the expectations. So well done on opening your account as a Manchester United player. I'm liking what you bring to the table. I'm seeing people only now realise that he is likely to play more than Anthony Martial. People really thought that he was going to be the rotation option to Anthony Martial. I was telling you from the minute. He was coming here to start because of what he offers, especially in a pressing sense. I think it'd be Martial that's the rotation option. Number 2, Marcus Rashford. There's not been better form that this kid has been in, although I did see somebody on Twitter today talking about how inconsistent Rashford is. I'm not even joking. And I had to go and read the entire thread to try and get a grip on what this guy was saying. So 10 goals in 10 games is inconsistent, right? The guy tried to justify it by saying in the games, he's not doing a lot outside of scoring. I don't know what to suggest to you, mate. You might want to go and see what Ruud van Nistelrooy did. You might want to go and see what Mbappe is doing right now. You might want to go and see what Cristiano Ronaldo did in his time at United when he was scoring loads of goals. They weren't 10 out of 10 performances where they were a constant threat week in, week out. Sometimes they would have very anonymous games, lose the ball a hell of a lot, but come away with a goal. And ultimately, coming away with a goal is the most important part of that. You want your players to play well. You want them to be creating chances for others. You want them to be a constant threat. And I'm going to be honest here and say, I actually think Marcus Rashford is doing that. I don't know if there's a better player in the Premier League on form as Marcus Rashford. He's going to play himself into world-class status. He's scoring in big games, semi-finals, derbies, top of the table, clashes away from home. You name it, Marcus Rashford scores in it. Him and Martinez were by far the best players on the park. We are desperately going to need him to keep up that form. No 2 ways around it. Number 3, a box-to-box midfielder is needed. Casemiro being back in the 11 was a positive thing, and even he didn't have his best game. Now, in mitigation to that a little bit, I don't think the game suited him. Casemiro's someone that you want when you're playing up against an opposition that's going to break away from you at times. You want him to be taking the ball off the defence, moving it through the thirds. And in a game where it's a little bit more under control, Nottingham Forest aren't going to let you do that. What they bring is a bit of chaos. Brennan Johnson, even Surridge, Gibbs White, they're going to bring carnage. They tried to make it a championship game. Very end-to-end, not bothered about turnovers, just cut, thrust. What makes the championship what it is, essentially. And that's what they tried to turn that game in. And United were fortunate with the offside goal, actually, because the offside goal, it was offside, and that's fine. But we allowed ourselves to be overloaded on the transition. And that was what last night's game was all about. It was all about transitions. And Casemiro can succeed in those games, but I think the frantic nature of it caught him a little bit by surprise, especially when he's partnered with someone like Eriksen, who's a little bit more passive defensively. You perhaps need maybe a Fred alongside you, someone that thrives in that sort of chaos, to be able to calm that sort of situation down and start exhibiting some control over what was going on, although Fred's not going to bring the same level of control as Eriksen would do in possession. We probably got outworked in the centre a little bit, probably overloaded a little bit. We definitely need to have someone else. Because even though it wasn't Casemiro's best game, I actually thought you could still see the difference between him playing last night and him not playing at the weekend. You still look far better. There's still places where he's creating attacks, where he's opening up defenses from deep. There's got to be someone brought in to either understudy him or eventually take over him when he moves on. It's an absolute requirement, and it has to be a serious investment because he is so good. We've been dying out for someone of that quality since Michael Carrick retired, and it just hasn't happened. And now we've got someone of that quality. We can't go back now. We have to continue with people of this quality. Find someone that can come in and have the bollocks to try and take Casemiro's shirt off him. That's what we need. We don't need no B-Tech versions. We want someone who at least thinks they can be better than him. That's what we need. It's an area of the pitch that United have to look at big time. Scoreline flattered us. It was a lot closer of a game than 3-0 suggests. 3-0 away from home in the first leg of semi. Game over. Done. Yeah, start booking train tickets. Might have already done that. But the scoreline does flatter United. Nottingham Forest was a lot better than 3-0 suggests. A better opponent will punish us. And like I said, with Barcelona on the very near horizon, you can't be allowing ourselves to get overloaded in the same way. The way Xavi's got them playing, you are getting punished. Our shape when Forest broke was quite concerning. I don't know if that was a particular set of tactics that we had for this week. Luckily, we got away with it. I'm pretty sure Ten Hag is going to address that, hopefully in time for the Barcelona game, because we're going to get turned over. Martinez had a little bit of a masterclass, and if it wasn't for that, we could have been in a lot more trouble. But the game was far too open for comfort. Yes, it was a semi-final. Yes, the home fans were up for it. Yes, the opposition were up for it. But I would like to see United exude a little bit more control in games if we're going to start being a trophy team. Speaking of trophies, this is our chance. We've all but booked our tickets for Wembley, and I literally booked my train ticket this morning, and I'm going to be looking at a hotel as soon as I do this video, actually. We are the best team left in the competition. I firmly believe that. Newcastle are going to run us very close, and it will be a close game if it is Newcastle that ends up seeing the job out against Southampton in the other semi-final, which I expect they will. We can beat Newcastle. You know, they're hurting for goals at the minute, and I think United can keep clean sheets and we can score goals. And it gives me the confidence that despite the fact we're playing Barcelona in the week of the build-up to the final, I think we can do it. There's never been a better opportunity for United than now. This feels different to the previous cup finals that we've been in. We go into this as favourites. We go into this knowing that we can put in good performances in big games. It should give us the confidence to kick on after we get that first piece of silverware. It's a day out at Wembley. I can't wait. And I firmly believe I'll be going down to Wembley and coming back up after watching Manchester United win a trophy. Sensational. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.